Namaste. So tonight I'm going to read Book 4, Chapter 9, on the fight between the Rishis and Prahalada. Om Vakratuna Mahakaya Surya Koti Sabakaya. Om Tat Sat. Vyasa said, after performing duly his religious rites there, the son of Hiranyakashipu saw before him an umbrageous peepal tree. There he saw, along with the feathers of vultures, the terrible sharpened under a stone, various glittering arrows arrayed in due order, and he was surprised to think who could have kept such arrows well guarded in this very holy hermitage of the Rishis. While Prahalada was thus meditating in his mind, he saw before him, wearing the skin of a black antelope, the two sons of Dharma, the two Munis, Nara Narayana, loaded on their heads with high cloths of hairs. Before them were placed the two white bows named Sarangam and Ajagavam, Pinaka, the bows of Vishnu and Shiva respectively, bearing their qualified marks as well as their two inexhaustible big quivers. The Lord of the Dechas then saw those two blessed ones, the two Rishis, Nara Narayana, the two sons of Dharma, deeply absorbed in meditation. Seeing this, he became very much enraged. His eyes became red, and he began to address them thus: O two ascetics, his vain arrogance possessed your mind to destroy religion. It is never seen nor even heard that the practice of severe asceticism and the holding of the bows and arrows were carried into effect simultaneously by one man in any of the 4 ages. These two are contradictory things that may be worthy in the Kali Yuga. This asceticism is fit for the Brahmanas. Why then are the bows and arrows held by you? There is an irreconcilable difference between holding of clotted hairs on the head and the holding in the hand of the bows and arrows. Therefore do you practice religious rites with feelings befitting your divine positions? Vyasa said, O descendant of Bharata, on hearing thus the Prahalada's words, the Nara Rishi said, O Lord of the Dechas, what matters it to you? Why do you for nothing trouble yourself with our tapasya? Any able man can accomplish anything. It is widely known in the 3 worlds that we are able to accomplish these 2 things contemporaneously. O thou of weak understanding, in the battlefield as well as in asceticism, we can show our powers. What have you got to do with us in these matters? The road before you is unobstructed. You can go wherever you like. Why do you brag of your own merits? You are very dull and stupid. What can you understand of a Brahmanic glory that is very rare and attained with great difficulty? Those that want happiness need not meddle with the Brahmanas. Prahalada said, blunt-headed and vain braggarts are you. When I am present in this tirtha, I who am the upholder of dharma, I won't allow you to practice any irreligious things here. O ascetics, better show me your skill in fight today. Vyasa said, O king, the Rishi Nara, on hearing his words, replied, Give us battle if you are so desirous. O wretched amongst the Asuras, in today's battle I will knock your head down, and then you shall never in future desire to fight with anybody. Vyasa said, on hearing these words, the chief of the Daityas was very much angry and promised to conquer these two self-controlled rishi ascetics, Narayana, by any means whatsoever. Vyasa said, thus saying, the Daitya took up his bow and quickly stretched it with arrow, and bowstring made a terrible noise. Then Nara too took up with anger his bows, and began to shoot arrows at Prahalada, lots of sharpened arrows and weapons. The Lord of the Daityas quickly selected the arrows, glittering like gold, and with them tore asunder the arrows thrown by Nara. Nara, seeing his arrows cut asunder, became infuriated with anger and began to hurl as quickly lots of other arrows. Prahalada then cut asunder with arrows of quick velocity the Nara's weapons and struck violently on the breast of Nara. Nara too, with anger, pierced the arms of Prahalada with 5 quick arrows. Indra and the other Devas came on their respective aeroplanes to see their fight, and began to give cheers, sometimes to Nara and sometimes to Prahalada, from above the skies. The Lord of the Daityas, taking up his bow, began out of furious anger to hurl various weapons on Nara, and incessantly, as clouds rains over the mountain peaks. The Nara Muni now became very much exhausted and weary, being struck with Prahalada's arrows. Narayana, then seeing Nara exhausted, became very much amazed, and beholding his unequaled Saranga bow, began to quit arrows shining with golden lustre. O Lord of the earth, then Narayana and Prahalada both were desirous to win the victory, and a terrible fight ensued. The Devas gladly poured forth flowers on their heads from the skies. The king of the Daityas got very much enraged and began to hurl arrows with tremendous quickness. Narayana, the son of Dharma, immediately cut asunder those weapons with his very sharp arrow. Narayana too threw arrows sharpened under stones with high velocity, and very much troubled the Lord of the Daityas, who now became very much restless. The sky was covered over with arrows, and arrows from both the parties, and the day looked like the night. Then the Devas and the Daityas were very much astonished, and told each other, we never saw before a terrible fight like this. Then the Devarishis, Gandharvas, Yakshas, Kinnaras, Panagas, Vidyadharas, and Charanas were all very much confounded. The two rishis, Narada and Parvata, came also to witness their fight. The Devarishi Narada told the Parvata Rishi he never saw before such a dreadful fight. There were awful battles with Tarakasura and Vitrasura, and also the battle between Hari and Madhuketava, but they were all inferior and cannot stand in comparison. It seemed that Prahalada was very powerful, otherwise how could an equal fight last so long a time with such an accomplished person, perfect with all the supernatural powers and of such heroic deeds as Narayana? Vyasa said, O king, day and night the Daityas and the ascetic Narayana went on fighting terribly with each other. Then Narayana cut off with the arrows the bow of Prahalada. Prahalada soon took another bow. The expert handed Narayana quickly broke it into two, that bow. Thus taught, Prahalada's arrows were repeatedly cut asunder. Still he began to take up fresh bows, and Narayana began to cut them repeatedly. Thus then, when all bows of Prahalada were destroyed, the Daitya Raja took up Pariga, iron club, became enraged and threw it on Narayana's arm. The powerful Bhagavan Narayana, seeing the dreadful iron club, cut it asunder with 9 arrows and pierced Prahalada with 10 arrows. Then Prahalada, enraged, threw the iron gada on Narayana's thighs. The exceedingly powerful Dharma's son was not at all agitated and stood firm like a rock, and taking up arrows, quickly cut asunder the iron gata of the Daitya. Then the visitors were much startled. Then Prahalada, intent on killing his enemy, became very much angry and threw the Shakti darts, spears and missiles instantly on Narayana's thighs with great velocity. Narayana, with one arrow, cut that easily into 7 parts, and with 7 arrows pierced Prahalada. Thus, for 1,000 Deva years, the terrible fight lasted between Prahalada and Narayana. In that hermitage, the whole universe was struck with surprise. Then Gadadhara, with yellow robes and 4 hands, quickly came there and called Prahalada. The son of Hiranyakashipu, Prahalada, seeing the Lord of Lakshmi, forearmed Narayana with lotus and disc in his hands, come there, bowed down, and with folded hands began to speak to him with great devotion. O Deva of the Devas, you are the Lord of the universe and devoted to your devotees. O Madhava, I have fought for full 100 Deva years. Still I have not been able to defeat these ascetics. I do not know why. I am surprised at it. Vishnu said, O forgiving one, these 2 rishis, Nara and Narayana, are the perfect ascetics, self-controlled and born of my amsas. Therefore you have not been able to defeat them. What wonder is there? O king, better go now to your patala and keep your steadfast devotion on me. O intelligent one, do not quarrel any more with these 2 ascetics. Vyasa said, O king, the Daitya king Prahalada, then advised by Vishnu, went out of that place with his asura followers, and the 2 Narayanas began again to practice their tapasyas. Here ends the 9th chapter on the 4th book of Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, the Maha Puranam of 18,000 verses, on the fight between the rishis and Prahalada by Maharishi Ved Vyasa. Om Jayanti Mangalakali Bhadrakali Kapali Durga Kashmashi. Hari Om Tuya Mata Chapita Tuya Bandusha Chasaka Tuya Shanti Shanti Shanti.